Hello and welcome to Sew with Christine. This is the part 2 of the tutorial on how to cut and sew this corset top. In my previous tutorial, I did the drafting and the cutting of this dress, but in this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to sew all the pattern pieces. Now, if this tutorial is what you're interested in watching, then watch to the end, of course, after you're done watching the part 1 of the tutorial. I'm gonna head to cut out the fabric and the lining using the pattern paper for the cup area. As you can see, I cut 2 pieces each for the fabric and the lining. Next, I will use this pattern piece to cut out the wadding for the bra cup. I've explained how to use wadding for your bra cup, so you can check my page for that tutorial. And this is it. I have run my zigzag stitches at the base of this bra cup. Next, I'm going to place the upper one this way and run my zigzag stitches on this as well. And here we are, guys. I am done stitching this up. We have both cups here ready. Next, I'm going to bring in all the pieces so you see the way I cut them. These are the back patterns. Remember, we cut the back in 3 places. This is the second part, and I cut 2 pieces for each. That's 2 pieces for the nets, the inner fabric, and the lining. This is not a transparent corset. That is why I'm using an inner fabric for this. If this is a transparent corset, I'm going to use multiple layers of nets for this. I'll be making a video on that soon. The third one we have here is the part I labeled lacing, and I used the Ankara fabric for that part. This is the part that will cover the back up instead of a modesty panel, and I added ½ inch for the seam allowance at the base, at the top and the side, while the center is on fold. And around all these parts I added ½ inch except the side seam that I use 0.75 inch. And this is the front parts. I added ½ inch all around this, and the center is on fold. At the side, I added 0.75 inch for the side seam. Then looking at these parts that is split in two, you can see I placed them together so that there will be no joining other parts. Now this is the yoke. I'm not going to be adding an inner fabric to this or lining, so I cut 2 pieces for the front since the front is on fold, and for the back I have the back 4 pieces. And here we have the sleeve. I've gone ahead to cut out this sleeve. This is just a basic sleeve pattern. Next is for us to sew the cup parts. I'm going to separate this so that we have them in 2 places. That's for both bust. And after separating, I'm going to bring both base together so that we are going to run our stitches from top to bottom. And this is it. I've gone ahead to sew this and iron this out. Next is for us to sew the base to the upper part of the cup. So I'm going to bring them together and sew from one end to the other. And this is what it looks like after sewing. Next, I'm going to bring in the cup and place the cup into this. You can see we have our seam allowance showing all around this cup. So how to glue this cup to the fabric? We are going to be making use of our hemming gum. I'm going to place the hemming gum onto the cup like so. I'll use the hemming gum to cover up the entire cup. Once I'm done covering this up, I will place the fabric over this. So this is what we'll use to join the cup to the fabric. Next, I'll do the same thing for the other side. I'm going to place my hemming gum all over the cup, and I'll use my fabric to cover this. Afterwards, I'm going to iron this. So first you need to arrange them properly and iron. I'll first iron the midpoints to hold all the hemming glue in place. After that, I'm going to trim off the excess that I have at the edges before ironing the edges. I'm going to bring in the front piece. I'll take off my pins and I'm going to remove the lining piece so that we'll be left with the nets and the under fabric. Next, I'm going to place the nets over this fabric like so. After arranging, I'm going to pin at different points. Now, when you're working with clothes like this, you have to pin so that everything will be in place. The next thing I will do now is to mark the center line. I can see the midpoint. If you can't see the midpoint, fold this and iron, or you can use your tape rule to measure. These lines will be for the boning channel, and here is the fabric that I will use for the boning channel. I have the width of this fabric at 1.5 inches. Next, I'm going to draw the other lines. I will just place my tape this way and connect downward. After drawing the second one, I'm going to draw the third one this way. Then I'm going to just mark a straight line from these points down to the hem. Now, when you are making your boning channel, there is no exact style to this. You can just use any one you feel comfortable with. To get these parts, we are going to measure the width from the midline to the second line. And we are also going to measure the width at the base and transfer the measurements to the side. After that, I'm going to connect the top to the bottom. So this is how we are going to do the other parts. We'll keep measuring and transferring the measurements to this side. The reason we are doing this is so that by the time you are done, all your channels will be equal and in place. Next is for us to fix the boning channels. Like I said, I have the width of this at 1.5 inches. I'm going to fold this into two and sew onto the fabric. There are different ways of making your boning channels, and this is one method that I'm going to show to you. Before we sew the boning channels, I'm going to bring in the back piece because we're also going to be sewing our boning channels onto this. So I'm going to arrange the net onto this. After arranging the net, I will pin every area. Okay, here we are now. I'm going to show you how to place this. After folding your fabric, place it close to the line. It should sit close, very close to the line. Then go ahead and sew 0.25 inch from the top downward. After sewing this, we'll go back up again, and this time we are going to bend this fabric to the right. Next, we are going to sew at the side, sew very close to the side. After sewing this part, we are going to run a top stitch on the other side. So I will start my stitching from the top parts through to the base. This is how to go about this method of bone casing. I'll do the same thing for the other parts. When you want to sew the third line, I will advise you sew the fourth one before you sew this third casing. This third one can lay over the fourth one conveniently. That is why I advise you sew that short one first before you sew this third one. I'll go ahead now and sew the way I have explained from top to bottom and top stitch the other side. Now this is for the back. First of all, I'm going to mark out the seam allowance at the side, and I'm going to mark the stitching allowance of 0.5 inch here. Next, I will take the measurement of what is left and divide that into two. After that, I'm going to place my tape this way and draw a straight line from top to bottom at the mid area. Then I'm going to bring in my fabric for the boning channel and sew close to the line. Just let the edge of your fabric sit very close to the line that you have drawn, and you sew 0.25 inch downward. After that, I'm going to flip the fabric to the side and run my stitches from the top to the bottom. Then once I'm done with this, we are going to run a top stitch on the other side. This is pretty much how to do this. You can see this boning method is very simple. There are other methods which I'm going to be sharing with you guys in my future videos. We are done with one part of the back. Now we are going to join the second part, the part where I labeled 2. We are going to join this part now to this side. So I'll first place the nets this way before I place the inner fabric. Now, if you're not sure how to place this, you can bring in your paper like I'm doing right now, so that you know which part is the top part and which part is the bottom. Now I'll go ahead and stitch from the top area to the hem. Next is for us to run our boning channel on this area that we just joined to cover up that stitching line. So I will go ahead and do that. I've gone ahead to iron the cup onto the fabric, and this is what we have here. You can see everything is all set. We have the cups ready. So what we'll be doing next is to sew the cup to the main dress. And this is the dress here. I'm going to bring in the back piece so you see what it looks like after sewing the boning channels to it. So I'm going to place the cup now onto the dress, and I'll be working with one first. I'll place this way, right side facing right side, and I'll begin to pin. It's advisable you pin your cup round before you sew. You can take off your pins while you are sewing, but before you sew, ensure you pin round. Once I'm done stitching the cups, I'm going to sew the sides close. That is, I'll bring in the back piece and I'm going to join them to the front piece. And this is it. I'm done stitching up the cups and sewing the back to the front. Next is for us to sew the shoulder and the neck area of the yoke parts. My camera stopped rolling, but I believe this is something you should be able to do. All you need to do is to sew the neckline of the front part and the neckline of the back piece. After that, you're going to use the back shoulder to wrap up the front one to sew the shoulders close. That's all. The next thing we'll do is to trim off the excess. When you're working with nets, you're going to trim off the excess. We don't want the excess to be visible, so you have to trim off all the excess. Afterwards, I'm going to turn this to the right side and iron it. Now, when you are ironing, ensure your pressing iron is mild. The heat is very mild, something that would not burn your net fabric. I also added loops to the back. You can make use of hook and eye or whatever fastener you feel is okay that will fit your dress. So I'm going to fold this into two like so and notch the midpoints. Now we are going to be fixing this yoke to the main dress. I'll flip this over like so and place the notch area onto the middle of this dress. After that, I'm going to pin this up. I will pin one part first from the midpoint to where the net ends. After that, I will sew that part. It's after I'm done sewing this part, I would pin the other area. So this would make this very easy. So I'll go to the sewing machine now and sew from this middle to this area. And we are here now. Let's do this together so you understand what I'm talking about. So from the middle now, I will just run my stitches, and you can see I'm taking off my pins as I sew to the side. Now I'm done stitching up this side. I will begin to pin this other area. When you are pinning, don't pull your net, just let your net sit freely. And see the way I'm sewing from the side to the middle. The first time I made my stitching from the middle to the side. On this other area, I will sew from the side to the middle. After stitching this up, we are going to stitch the back part. So for the back, I'm going to turn the net this way and place the end of this net onto this first channel. After arranging, I'm going to pin them up, then run my stitches over this. I'll repeat the same thing for the other side. So I'm done stitching up the yoke. Next is for us to sew the lining piece. Those lining pieces we removed. While I was making the main fabric, I was also sewing the lining area. So I'm going to place this lining now right side facing right side, and I will pin. Next, I'm going to bring in my hemming gum and pin my hemming gum onto this. So I'm going to sew the hemming gum with the lining and the fabric round everywhere. So I'm done sewing the lining to the main dress like this. Next, I want to iron stay to this inner parts where we'll be fixing our eyelets so that this area will be firm enough for the eyelets. So now I will go ahead and iron on both sides and iron the entire dress. And this is it, guys. I've gone ahead to iron my stay to the side, just something very small there for the eyelets. Next is for us to fix the boning into the channels. So I have two sizes here. I have the bigger one and the smaller one, but for this dress I'm going to be making use of the smaller one. And you can see this is curved, so we are going to iron this out. First, I'm going to measure the length that I want. I'll cut this out. I came up by about 2 inches to 2.5 from the hem. Next, I'm going to bond the edges. You can use tape or whatever method you use, or you file the edges so that those parts will no longer be sharp, and I'll go ahead and iron it. And this is it, guys. You can see it is straight. I've ironed this out. Next, I'm going to pass this into the channel, and this is what we have. I'll do the same thing for the other parts of the channel. I'll get the length, bond the edges, and iron them straight. Once I'm done passing my boning, I'm going to use this piece of fabric to pipe the base. So I'll first of all run my stitches down. After that, I'll come back and fold the fabric inward like so, and sew on it. So guys, I've gone ahead to pass my boning, and I've also piped the hem of the dress. Next is for us to fix the last part of the back piece. Now for these parts, I've ironed my stay there, and you will also fix your boning. So it's best you use the Regilene boning for this area. That boning you can sew on. So you fix your Regilene boning in it. I'll go to the sewing machine now. I'll do that. I will sew the top parts and the base. So this is it. I'm done stitching the top parts, the base, the boning, everything. So now I will just sandwich the edge of this dress into this area and run my stitches from the top to the bottom. I'll do the same thing for this other side. And here we are, guys. I'm done with the stitching, and I've also added my eyelets. I made a tutorial on how to fix your eyelets. You can check that out in my page. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.